Hey guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is Stefan speaking to you. And finally, the day is here where we can implement OpenAI, their virtual assistants, into your chatbots. So you are already able to add your virtual assistants to the post engagement widgets, right? On Instagram and Facebook. So now we have implemented the technology inside your chatbots as well. There are tons of applications to use this tech. We are already seeing a lot of benefits as well. About 80% of the questions that are asked in our chatbot are repeat questions, and they were kind of quote unquote deflected already with some of the trigger keywords we have set up in our personal chatbot for Clever. However, what we see now, and I will include a link to our AI in our chatbots later in this video as well. What we see now is that roughly 80% of all conversations are managed by AI. And some of these cases do actually need human attention, but this greatly helped us cut our resources needed for live chat in half. So this is already amazing. People get faster help. We have more resources we can actually use in other parts of our business. So it's a win-win-win scenario right here. And that's something that you can actually use in your business as well. Now, let's get into this right here. I've created this special page called GPT bonus flows, and that already should give you a hint. So this is the page that is holding your 5 free bonus flows. That's right. To celebrate this launch of the OpenAI virtual assistant feature inside your chatbots, we're going to give you 5 free bonus flows. And these 5 free bonus flows are a result of our continuous testing for the last couple of months. We went through the ringer with this one, and we decided upon these 5 bonus flows that we want to share with you guys because they have the most impact on our business, right? So the one that is publicly accessible right here on our chatbot is this one. So we are giving you the exact same flow that we are actually using in our business. So have fun with that. I'm going to go over each and every flow shortly, but let's first talk about how to integrate OpenAI in your chatbot, right? So let's move back to the dashboard. So we have an easier way of understanding from where we need to go. You basically click on the magical wand right here and click on integrations. And from here, you basically add the OpenAI integration. The only thing you have to do is click on create new, search for OpenAI. There it is. And you jot in your API key and you give it a name. After that, you should see it popping up right here like it's on my screen. And you're now able to pull in virtual assistants. Just like with the post engagement widget for both Facebook and Instagram, you're now able to pull in your virtual assistants inside your flows. Now that's really cool. And that's something I'm going to demonstrate right here. Now, there are a couple of things that I do want to mention before moving forward to the Clever part right here, where we demonstrate the flows and how easy it is to set up an OpenAI virtual assistant in your chatbot. There are a couple of things that we are going to discuss in this video as well. I'm going to give you a short little demo on Messenger. So basically, to give you a feel how it looks on their end, your customer's end, or the customers your client has, right? So that's super important to basically get that feel as well as a customer. Then we're going to talk a little bit more about this doc right here, this documentation, as well as the bonus flows I've already talked about. Now, without further ado, let me just go into this right now. What I'm going to do first is going to create a flow from scratch and give you the laydown on how this integration actually works. So I'm going to call this OpenAI demo and click on confirm. And this one, I'm actually going to leave inside the template as well, so that you can actually follow along with this video as we build out this flow or demonstrate this new card, this new integration card. So what we are going to do is basically build from scratch. And I actually like it to set up my flows in such a way that they're always triggering. And what I mean by that, I am going to start with 2 perform action cards. And if you have been following along with the other videos, what we want to do is make sure that we resume the bot automation, because there are a ton of reasons why a bot automation is paused for a certain subscriber. In our case, this action basically makes sure it resumes the bot automation so that the messages are going out. Now, then moving forward, we're going to set up this card right here, and we are going to go with the clear required input. There might be a scenario that a user is currently in an ask for email address flow, and Clever is waiting for that user to add their email address. But again, life gets in the way. The person forgets to leave its email. Then the message gets sent out, for example, And then Clever still thinks that the input that is being forwarded is the email address. Now that obviously does not work. So we want to make sure that any required input is cleared from the get-go. And this makes sure that the flow goes out. So always start with this setup. At least that's my recommendation. Let me zoom out right here. Since it's a demo right here, we're going to start with a text card right here. And I'm not that creative today. So let's start with the demo. There we go. And we are going to add a button. We'll start. Let's keep things simple. And then we are going to connect this card to this card that we just created. And we're going to scroll all the way down under other integrations, and all the way down right here is the OpenAI card that we can now use. So I'm going to place it right here and click on the connector that says start and add that to this card right here. So now we have our simple OpenAI flow. And in order to understand how this actually works, I need to explain a couple of things. Right here, we have our standard card. What we are going to do right now is double click to go inside the card. So we are going to select the integration first that we have just created. So we're going to select it, and then we're going to pull in the virtual assistant that we would like to use. For this, we are going to go with the Clio Clever chatbot. That's the one that we're currently using in our actual live environment. And then we have the OpenAI instructions right here. So looks similar to a message, but this field is actually additional instructions that you are giving to the virtual assistant via the API, right? So in OpenAI, right, you have your assistant and you can actually add your instructions. These OpenAI instructions that you have right here are layered on top of those instructions to basically give you a little bit more control on what you want your chatbot to do inside Messenger or Instagram, right? So this is what you have right here. Again, these OpenAI instructions are layered on top of the other instructions you set up in virtual assistant. Now, let me just open up right here the OpenAI chatbot. This is the chatbot that we are actually using. These are the instructions right here that we have set up. I've added those instructions inside the doc right here as well, so you could get a good feel. There we go. So these are the actual instructions that we are actually using inside our chatbot. You can actually basically copy and paste that inside your instructions right here and change the company name with your desired company name, and it should already be good to go. But again, these instructions right here are layered on top of these instructions, basically to give you the control and the ability to guide the chatbot on what you want it to do, right? So that's what we did right here. The card comes already preloaded with these simple instructions. Answer this question, user input, and make sure to add an emoji in your response. Super simple. We have also introduced a new field called user input. This field can actually be called right here from the system attributes right here called OpenAI user input. So for instance, if you mistakenly delete this tag right here, you can always pull it back up right here from this menu. And this is basically what the chatbot is, right? So this basically gives a call over to the virtual assistant at OpenAI. It basically gives it these instructions together with the user input being the last thing they actually set to the chatbot. This can be a question, a remark, anything. And then all the magic is happening on the end of OpenAI, right? So once the question goes in, it will check the data that you have provided for, in this case, in our case, it's the Clever Support Chatbot documentation. Based on this documentation right here, of course, this is the toned down one, giving you more of a impression of what it actually takes to set up a proper document. But to give you an idea, our document is actually, I think we just crossed 100 pages on this document for ourselves. But we are very happy with the responses it is actually giving us in the chat. So that's really cool to see. Now let's go back right here. The user input is basically the last input that is done by the subscriber inside your chatbot. And that user input together with these instructions is sent over to the virtual assistant, and the virtual assistant gives a reply back, and it will then answer the customer or subscriber, right? There is a skip button right here already pre-populated for you, which you can use. You don't have to, but this allows for an easy exit out of these flows, right? So With this skip button, you can actually use like a semi-automated AI flow. If you delete the skip button, you actually have like a full automated flow. Now, in order to have a full automated AI flow that keeps on doing its thing, you need to loop the card. And what I mean by that is simply clicking on the connector right here and loop it back to itself so that there is a continuous Q&A going on, a continuous conversation. So each and every time a user responds to the chat, it goes to this card that sends all the information over to OpenAI. OpenAI gives us all the information back, and we show the reply to the subscriber in Instagram or Messenger. And that obviously is all happening in the backend, and that's something you do not have to worry about at all. Now, my recommendation, my personal suggestion, if you're going to loop it, I would always add a skip button or something like a connect to human button, a quick reply rather, to make sure that people have the option to also not talk with the AI and talk with a human, so that there is an exit path to a human or an exit path outside of the whole AI loop. Very important when it comes to chatbot user experience, but you might have other ideas about that. So we want to make this optional. Now, with that out of the way, I think we have kind of demonstrated how this actually works on its basis. What we're going to do next is basically navigate through these flows. And then from there on out, we're going to have a short little demo. So again, I'm going to save this first so that you can actually use this in your own flows. So we have your generic flow, which kind of is similar to the OpenAI demo flow. But this one is the one I'm most proud of. And that's this one right here. This is the full AI with exit possibilities, full with condition cards, and making sure that there is an exit to a human path as well. So let's dive into this right here. As you can see right here, the flow starts in the same fashion as the other flow we've built. Then it goes to a condition card, and it actually checks if there is already an active chat with the subscriber, right? Also, a thing I would like to add on right here is that each and every chat is created inside the virtual assistant. So we are using the Messenger ID and the Instagram ID, basically a unique identifier to create a thread ID in OpenAI. And this thread is basically used as a backbone of the entire conversation. So it also remembers previous chats that transpired in a previous conversation. Your conversations that your AI has with your customers or your subscribers will never get lost because it's tied to your virtual assistant. Now, obviously, if you delete your virtual assistant, you're deleting all your conversations as well. But that's on the OpenAI side. So that's the flexibility right here that we are offering as well. For this particular card, what we are doing right here is just to see if this user had a previous AI chat, because we want to basically make sure that there is another experience for people that are returning to chat with the AI. If it's their first time they go through this path right here, I changed the names from Clio to AI. We are using Clio inside our chatbot. We thought that would be a clever, cool name. So that's something we used in our chatbot. My suggestion to you would also personifying the AI a little bit more. Just calling it AI is a little bit dry. Just give it a name, which already gives it some sort of a persona, right? And that's very important because if you give it a name, people also find it easier to connect with an AI as well. Just give it a name. That's said, then we're going to go through this flow right here where we see the first OpenAI card. And as you can see, we have multiple cards inside this flow, 2 to be exact. Now the first flow right here, and let me just add the integration so that we can actually see this right here, is also adding a couple of other instructions like user's first name, user's gender. In fact, you can add as many instructions you would like. That also means that you can add in global fields, custom fields, tags. So you can send all of this information over to OpenAI so that it will get to know your subscriber a little bit better. By sending over the user's first name and the user's gender, AI will know how to call your subscribers. In some of these replies, you will see that it will use the customer's or subscriber's first name. It will also have a different tone when it talks to a man or talks to a woman, which I found very, very funny to see. So right here, we're sending this over with the first card. However, we do not need to send this over in the second card. And the second card is actually the card that we are using as a loop. And as you can see right here, it's the same card. It's just a copy, but we added a couple more lines of instructions right here. So it says answer this question and include an emoji where you see fit in your response. Use their first name in the reply if it makes sense. Otherwise, it's overkill. Do not hesitate to ask for more information if something is unclear or ask for elaboration. This little prompt right here helped us to streamline a ton of errors we've seen. At one point, it was calling my name with each and every reply, which is just unnatural, right? So that's not something we want to add a reference or call the first name sometimes in a conversation, but you don't see each other calling each other by your first name in each and every thing you're saying in real life too, right? So that didn't make sense. So we added this little instruction right here to make sure it doesn't. Then as you can see right here, we went with the exit approach, where we give users the option to stop the AI or connect with a human on our support. As you can see right here, the after open reply, if we hover over it, it gets transparent. You can see that the card, the after open reply, is looping. And that's where these little exit paths come into play. So basically people can choose to stop the AI or immediately talk with a human. We added some replies right here. And this flow card right here would then ideally link to a customer support path where a human is called. For example, with the messenger notification card under the perform action card right there, or a Slack notification or an email notification. We have a custom integration we built with Jira, and we automatically create a ticket in our system as well. So that we have both the information right here in the chat, but also in our Jira application, right? So that's something we're doing. But yeah, that's basically some more information about this flow. This is the flow that we are actually using for our support together with a big document right here. And obviously OpenAI right here. And that helps us a ton. Right now, I just want to go into a couple of the other flows right here. Let's go to flows and let's leave it. There we go. This is the same flow, but then without an exit, a little bit more simpler. But again, as you can see right here, there is no exit path. This will just continue on looping. And there are scenarios for that. You might be someone that wants to have like a continuous conversation and have AI take care of everything. So that if that's you, then this flow will suit you just fine. Then we're going back. We have another flow. And this is something we're currently testing where we split the sales and tech support into two, and where we actually have two virtual assistants take care of the conversations. So one is more specified towards sales. So if there's a pre-sales question, as you can see right here from this card, it will go to the sales support. If there is a current customer that wants tech support, it will go to the tech support chatbot first. And then we're obviously going to build this out, making sure that there is a connection to a human as well. But this is the bare bones that we're currently testing right now. All right. So next up is the flows section. Again, right here, we're going to leave this page. And then we have the qualify leads one, which is one of my favorite as well. This thing is still needs a little bit more testing. But what you can do right here with this flow, we use the band framework, basically asking for the budget, asking if the customer or subscriber is a decision maker in the company, then asking how urgent the issue is and in what time frame it needs to be solved. So these are basically some lead qualification questions you can ask, and you can actually feed OpenAI these parameters, and if they're all positive and syncing up with what you deem as a good lead, OpenAI can then start responding to that lead and perhaps even closing the sale. But this is what I want to show you for this specific card. You can actually send over other instructions to OpenAI. For example, next to the user's first name and gender, there's also the email, the budget, the decision maker, urgency, timing. So all those parameters are sent over, and then we are asking the OpenAI virtual assistant to qualify this lead based on the given parameters, right? And from there, OpenAI can start qualifying leads. And yeah, if it's a qualified lead, then close the sale. If it's disqualifying the lead, it will not continue the conversation and things. And that's just scratching the tip. I mean, can't wait to see what you guys come up with, your creativity, but there's so many applications that you can use this for. Super cool. So without further ado, let me just take a look at my schedule right here. And I think we have now talked about the doc and the bonuses. There we go. Yeah, to basically install the bonuses right here, you simply click on this link right here. This opens up Clever. And if you're not logged in yet, it will prompt you to log in. After that, you will see a page or a pop-up, if you will, asking you where you want to install the flows on. You simply select your page and it will install those flows on the page you have selected. Now, for this documentation, please follow this documentation and make sure you follow it to the letter. Make sure you note these little yellow highlights because these need to be removed from the actual documentation that you're going to upload. Uploading the training documentation is done via files. You do need to enable the retrieval module right here for your chatbot. Adding a file is quite simple. You add it right here via this button right there. And make sure you follow the instructions in the entire document. Again, I do not expect you to have tons of content and basically reach over 100 pages in the document. It's just that we have a ton of information about Clever, what Messenger and Instagram chatbots are, where we are going with this and all that stuff. It's all added to our document. But this should serve as a good backbone of your training document. And this is where the actual document will start. And this is how you actually are going to fill everything up. Super important to have a table of contents so that the virtual assistant can actually navigate quickly through it. Again, right here we have a glossary, which I think you should add because this way the virtual assistant knows what kind of jargon it actually needs to use. And then we have everything set up in different kind of headings, right? So we have benefits questions, pre-sales, post-sales, billing questions, software feature related questions, tech support questions. In our finalized document, we even have a testimonial section and a case study section, which is kind of cool. Yeah, follow that document and you will see how really cool this is. This is what we use. This is what your virtual assistant needs for the training. And again, I already mentioned it in this video. There are some instructions that you can already copy right here from this document and put them right in under the instructions tab. So that's super cool. You can actually copy and paste your way to getting this done. All right, I talked about the templates. I talked about the virtual assistant. I talked about how the OpenAI card works. And I talked about how to integrate OpenAI. And as you can see, it's super, super cool. So the only thing that's left is talking with this chatbot on Facebook. Let's take a look. What I'm going to do is make sure that there is like a welcome message configured on the configuration page. So let's scroll all the way down. There is not. So let's go with the full AI without or with exit. Yep, there we go. Enable that one. Let's see if we can do something else right here and make sure that my profile is set up in such a way that I've never contacted it. No tags are existing. That's great. Let me open up the Facebook page right here. As you can see, it's a blank page, not much activity right here because it's just created just for this demonstration video. We're going to click on message and have a conversation with this chatbot. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going to click on get started right here, and that should trigger the welcome message flow. The welcome message flow is also the AI flow, right? So it says, Stefan, you rang. It's AI here. Ask me anything. There we go. And we're going to ask about the checkbox plugin. What is it and what does it do? There we go. And we should get a response quite fast. However, the initial response that you are going to receive is a little bit more like pretty much on a delay because there is a thread. Now it's coming out quickly right now, but that I guess was the delay already. Because on that initial conversation, that first conversation that you will have with an AI or your subscriber or your customer has with an AI, it will create a thread ID, the stuff that I've been talking about earlier in this video. And that just takes a couple of seconds before that it's done. Then it will process the entire question and send over all the other data. But yeah, it was quite fast. So right here, we got a response back. It says, absolutely. The checkbox plugin is a nifty tool that allows individuals to opt in and start chatting with you directly from your website. It works seamlessly with lead capture forms, giving your audience an easy way to subscribe to your messages and engage with you right off the bat. It's as convenient as ticking a box. If you need more details or want to dive in deeper into the integration, just let me know. And as you can see right here, can you tell me more? How my, let's say, yoga studio will benefit from chatbots. And as you can see, it should probably take just a few seconds before it says with a response. And again, I think these responses are really great. And there you have it. It's quite elaborate. That's really cool. It says chatbots transform your yoga studio into a buzzing hub of engagement and organization. They're like virtual yogis working around the clock, attract, inform, and retain your clientele. Here's how they can help. Then it lists all these benefits, which I think are quite amazing. And there we go. It starts into that kind of sales sequence right here where, let's say, yoga studio is on the lookout for a chatbot. It will automatically help them realize the benefits for them and what it could mean for their business. Obviously, we went ahead with the exit. We can basically stop the AI right here or connect with the human. So that is something that we actually prefer. And in my experience, people do love these exit options at all times so that there is the convenience for them to connect with a human at all times, or to simply stop the AI. And with that, I want to leave you, but one final thing, go in and get your hands dirty. Talk with your chatbot, see how it performs so that you continuously tweak it to make sure it's an extension of you and your brand, or an extension of your client's brand, right? If you are selling chatbots as an agency. So go into this with that frame of mind, continuously tweak the document. I do think we have covered a lot of ground in this video. Let me know what you think about this video and the content of this video. If you have any other questions, do post them below this video so I will answer them myself, or perhaps create another video out of these questions you guys are asking, right? Thank you so much for watching this video. This was Stefan, and bye for now.